Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today's topic is about Isaiah, and especially in Isaiah 13 to 14 when he talks about the end times that are coming. I would love to be able to explain it to you and give my thoughts and theories, because I've been reading Isaiah and I came across and I was like, this is amazing. Okay, and guess what? I got my podium back. Yeah, I got a new podium, the same one, but this one's, it works. It's not gonna come apart. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go preach a little bit, give my thoughts. It's gonna be a longer video. I got 2 more videos coming out today. I got my intermediate one, which is gonna be about the roads that God takes you on, and now how, of course, my daily verse. Okay, I will make sure I get all those out today, because tomorrow there will be no videos except for my daily verse. Okay, but let's get into the topic, okay? Because it's awesome. So I ask you to turn to Isaiah 13. Actually, sorry, Isaiah 12. Okay, so turn to Isaiah 12, if you would. I'm using the CSB version, the Christian Standard Bible. Okay, so we start off in Isaiah. So Isaiah 12. So before Isaiah 12, it talks about the reign of the Davidic king. And it talks about a king coming from the line of Jesse. So at this time, David had already died. Okay, this was when King Asmons was king of Judah. So David's already dead. King Solomon's already dead, right? So it's from the line of, it says it's from the line of Jesse. Okay, and remember, Jesse is David's dad. Okay. So upon first reading, you think, oh, well, this is about King David, but isn't King David already dead? And that was my first thinking. I was like, oh, how can I not put 2 and 2 together? It's about Jesus, because Jesus is from the line of David, okay? Which means he is from the line of Jesse. All right. So it talks about how basically it's foreshadowing Jesus coming. And especially even talks about he will not judge. And if you remember, Jesus said he came to not judge or condone. So Isaiah 11's foreshadowing this king that's coming. And when you read between the lines, you can see, oh, it's Jesus. Like, this happened. Okay, this was prophesied and this happened. There's 2 types of prophecies. There's short-term prophecies and there's long-term prophecies. I would say this is more of a short-term. Right, but when you read through Isaiah 11, you see, oh yes, this is foreshadowing Jesus, and it's really amazing to be able to see that. The Bible, especially the Old Testament, has so many times where it foreshadows Jesus, and you put 2 and 2 together, and you're like, oh man, wow, this is awesome. So we have this, Isaiah 11, and then we go to Isaiah 12. Okay, now this is where I try to put 2 and 2 together. So it just got done foreshadowing Jesus. And now it's about song of praise. It talks about giving thanks to the Lord and how God is my salvation. And it's a song of praise, being like you are going to sing it. And if you think about today, think about what we talk about when we think of Jesus and the songs about Jesus, like Christian songs, right? It talks about God is my salvation. It talks about God's salvation. Okay? And many songs, it's like God's salvation, or just when we talk about God. And then in verse 3, it says, you will joyfully draw water from the springs of salvation. It's like living water. Okay, we talked about that today too, with the woman at the well. And then how Jesus is living water. You take his water, you will never thirst again, because it's from the springs of salvation. And then Isaiah 4 says, make his works known among the peoples. Jesus said, go make it disciples. Go spread my word. And that happens today too. We try to spread his works among the people about how Jesus did all this. He healed the blind. He healed the sick. So it's really amazing to see the song of praise and how we say it today, right? We even sing songs of praise like this, right? In our songs, you listen to Christian songs, it goes, a lot of it is about the salvation and grace of God and about Jesus And the Song of Praise, what he relates to today. Like, it's awesome. This was, when was Isaiah? Probably like 676 BC, around there. Right? So from then to now, how it stands true. Right? We sing praise for Jesus, right? I mean, it's incredible. It is. We still do. So, right after Isaiah 12, and I think it's kind of cool, is Isaiah 13, which is an announcement against Babylon. So right after the talk about Jesus and the Song of Praise, it goes right to an announcement against Babylon, which is talking about the end times. So it's interesting to see you got Jesus, right, in his Song of Praise, and then after, it's the end times. Like after Jesus' death, the end times are near. I thought it was pretty cool how it was written by Isaiah, right? You got Jesus, the Song of Praise, and then boom, the end times. Like after Jesus' death, the end times are near. But Isaiah 11 and Isaiah 14 is really what I was here to talk about today. And I would think Isaiah 13 and 14 is about the end times and a prophecy of what is to come. Right? We have Revelations, which is the end times. And you also have the end times kind of sprinkled in the Old Testament and New Testament. But I think this Isaiah 13 and 14 is one of the most prophesized about the end times, excuse me. So I kind of want to break down Isaiah 13 and 14, because when you read it between the lines, and I did do some additional research, it really makes sense. So we start off, and let's go to verse 3. It says, I have commanded my considered ones, whatever the way you want to say it. I have called my warriors. In verse 3, when it says, commanded my concerted ones, I'm sorry, I know I'm mispronouncing that, I'm sorry. In Hebrew, it means holy ones. So Jesus is calling, when he comes back, right? It talks about Jesus coming back in Revelation, and he calls us holy ones. Right? Those who believe in him, those who have that faith, his holy ones who are with him in his army. And then we go to let's go to verse number 4. It talks about the Lord of armies is mobilizing an army for war. So when you mobilize an army, you gather your army. Okay? Right? Kings, leaders, generals will do this. You mobilize your army. You get your army ready. You bring your army to a battle, battle ready. So the Lord of armies is mobilizing a battle. So you can think about right now, what is the Lord doing? He's mobilizing his armies. And that could be, mobilizing his armies could just be having us and helping us so that we can be in his army. Right? The more he gathers us, the more we spread his word, the more he gathers his army. Right? We're his warriors. That's a pretty cool way to think about it. And then let's go to verse 6 to 9. And this is why Isaiah 13 and 14 is prophesying the end times and not the fall of Babylon, which would happen 100 years later. Right? In 539 BC, Babylon would fall, but then it would rise. It fell. I think that was his fall. Because I know there was a second Babylon. So it might have, I don't know the exact history, I'm sorry. But in the fall of 539, some people think that this prophecy is about that fall. But I think it's not about that fall of Babylon, right? That's kind of on a small scale. I think it's actually a way bigger scale, especially in end times. And I'm going to explain to you why using some additional research. So, Isaiah 13, verses 6 to 9. Is, especially verse 6 is, for the day of the Lord is near. And when you hear that, it's usually about divine judgment in the future. So we know this judgment is in the future. Okay? And in verses 10 for 13, this is really cool. Because it says, indeed, the stars of the sky and its constellations will not give their light. The sun will be dark when it rises, and the moon will not shine. Right? So we have that. And Jesus talked about how there be signs and wonders when he comes back. That's talked about in Matthew 24 to verses 27 to 30. Jesus talks about these signs and wonders when he comes back. And this is a pretty good sign and wonder. Like the sun will be dark when it rises. That's a sign. And the moon will not shine. Okay, so those are the signs and wonders. Which is, when you have those signs and wonders, that's Jesus coming back. So right now, Isaiah is prophesying what's going to happen when Jesus comes back. And then verses 11 to 12 is the fall of Babylon, which will be felt throughout the world. So listen to this. Verse 12. I will make a human more scarce than fine gold. This is a really big indicator of it being the end times. Because after the fall of Babylon in 539 BC, yes, Babylon falls, but humans are not more scarce than fine gold. Like Babylon's on a pretty small scale compared to the rest of the world. So humans are not more scarce than fine gold. So this makes me think that when the end time, this is the end time, because when it comes, humans will be more scarce than fine gold. Does that mean humans will be killed, like those who don't follow God? I'm not sure. I think it does, right? He comes back. He destroys the wicked, the evil, the sinners. And humans would be more scarce than fine gold. And I bet those humans that are left over are the holy ones, the righteous ones, and the ones who believe in or have their faith in God. Right? That could be us. And once again, Babylon, when they fell, that's a small scale. The world wasn't affected. But if humans are more scarce than fine gold, then the whole world has to be affected. Like, think about nowadays. What is there, like, 10 billion people? And it's rising. If Babylon... Okay, sorry. If we have like 10 billion people today, and then we turn into humans more scarce than fine gold, right? There has to be a massive event for it to be more scarce than fine gold, because fine gold is very rare. And be able to see that and know that, yeah, it's going to be there's going to be only a few humans who have that complete faith in Him, and who are that warriors that go with God. And you see a lot of times many Christians who call themselves Christians, and then they don't really believe in God or have their faith. They just do it for a title. And you know how Jesus says, you know, you'll come to me, and I'll say, you never knew me. I do think that's going to happen to a lot of people. And that will really cut out a lot of people. So you only have this few, when I say few, I mean there's a lot of people, but like the few people out of the billions that really have their faith in God and trust God, and that will enter the kingdom of heaven. Just because you call yourself Christian doesn't mean you're a believer of God and a believer of Jesus. Christian and Christianity is just a label. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay? Okay, so let's go to verse 20. Sorry, hold on. What did I have here? Okay, yeah. So, in verse 20 to 22, it says, it will never be inhabited or live from generation to generation, and no man will not pitch his tent there, and shepherds will not let their flocks rest there. Okay, so Babylon will never be inhabited again. And there's many scholars who debate, is it a country? Like, does Babylon represent just a single country, or does it represent the earth? And if I had to make a theory, and I would love your comment and tell me your theories or what you think or some additional information. I think that Babylon is a country, but it represents the world. And Revelation talks about how there would be one world government. There'd be like one country, one government. So Babylon would be like the earth, because there's one government. So Babylon is a country, but it represents the earth. So it's kind of a combination of those two. So I would think, yes, most of the earth will be, maybe like, it could be possibly uninhabited. And we know once again that fall of Babylon, 539 BC, is not what Isaiah is foreshadowing. It's because there's been people that have lived in Babylon since then. I think Babylon is located like where Saudi Arabia is, or like Iran, Iraq, in the Middle East. But people have lived there. They've inhabited again. So if Isaiah is indeed talking about the fall of 539 BC, then he's wrong. And prophecies come from God, so God's wrong? No. No, the prophecy must be of the end times, okay? When any part of Babylon cannot be inhabited. Okay, now, Isaiah 14. This is an amazing part. It's such a cool part. It's really about the downfall of the king of Babylon. Verse 3 is, right? So, I want you to go to the Israel. So, I'm talking too fast. So, I was giving you what he decided. Okay, Isaiah 14:3. And in my book, it says the downfall of the king of Babylon, which is Satan. Now, listen why I think it is. So, let's go to Isaiah 14:5. I'm sorry, let's go to verse number... Let's go to verse number 7. The whole earth is calm and at rest. So when Babylon does fall, when the king of Babylon falls, Satan, when he falls, the whole earth will be calm and at rest because there's no more Satan. There's no more, I guess there's probably no more sin either. There's no more hatred. And if you don't have hatred, then there's not going to be any wars, right? You only go to war because you hate someone, usually. So the whole earth is at calm and at rest. So this is when Satan is gone. And once again, this is why, again, it's so important. I've been talking about this. Isaiah is not prophesying about the fall of Babylon in 539 because the world is calm and at rest. Since 539 BC, there has been many wars, much hatred. The world is the farthest away from calm and at rest. You could argue that it's gotten worse. But when Satan is destroyed, there will be calm and the people will be at rest. The whole world will be peaceful. So Isaiah has to be prophesying for when after Satan falls, the world will be at rest. And then we have, let's go to Isaiah 14:12. This is describing Satan's fall from heaven. I'm going to read all of this, okay, because it's really good and I would love for you to hear it. Shining morning star, how you have fallen from the heavens, how you destroyed your destroyer of nations. You have been cut down to the ground. You said to yourself, I will ascend to the heavens. I will set up my throne above the stars of God. I will sit on the mount of the God's assembly. God's assembly. Not gods, like there's multiple gods, but God's assembly. In the remotest parts of the north, I will ascend above the highest clouds. I will make myself like the Most High. But you will be brought down to Sheol, into the deepest regions of the pit. Oh, okay. So God starts off, or Isaiah starts off with shining morning star. So what I'm thinking is that when Satan was in heaven, he was like bright. Like he was, like I would say, like a really good angel. Like he was probably one of God's highest angels. Right, shining morning star. You don't want to say that about someone unless they're like amazing, right? They're awesome. How you have fallen from heaven. So this is stating he was all the way up here in heaven. I mean, he was the Most High. What else can you want? But no, he's jealous and he's fallen from heaven. He's fallen all the way down here. And then it's also that verse is exclamation point. So the Bible doesn't use exclamation points like we do today. Right, we use it, we're like, oh yay, like we're like kind of excited. But when the Bible uses it, it means like big assignment, right? Loud, okay? Like when you put an exclamation point, you're really meaning something. So when I read verse 12, I go, how you have fallen from the heavens, right? How the devil has fallen so far from the heavens. And it goes, you destroyer of nations. Satan has destroyed many nations. He has entered the hearts and the minds of the leaders and then destroyed the people in those nations and destroyed the nations altogether. Okay? And then you said to yourself, right? So what did the devil say to himself? I will ascend to the heavens. I will set up my throne above the stars of God. So Satan said to himself, I will be better than God. I will ascend to the heavens. I will go back up to the heavens. I will set up my throne above the stars of God. Right? We know how the Lord sits on a throne. But no, the devil's going to go up and he's going to take it a step further, go above God and set up his throne and rule across everything and be above God, and that he will be better than God. That was Satan's ambition. He was jealous of God. He wanted to be the creator. He wanted to be the God of everything. But what happened to his jealousy? What happened because of his jealousy? He fell. We can take that today and see that jealousy will not make us rise, but it will make us fall. That's why it's so important not to be jealous. Jealousy rots the heart. Look what happened to Satan, right? Imagine what it can do to you. In verse 14 it says, I will ascend above the highest clouds. I will make myself like the Most High. Once again, the devil wanted to be God. He wanted to be the Most High. He didn't want to be a servant God. He didn't want to be an angel God. He wanted to be God. And what happens? He falls. He falls to the ground. Right? He falls. What jealousy does to an angel, imagine how much worse it is for you. And then it says, but you will be brought down to Sheol into the deepest regions of the pit. Right? Into the deepest regions of the pit. This pit is the deepest. You can't even imagine how deep it is. This devil will be brought all the way down. Imagine that fall. He wants to be the Most High. He wants to be the highest. He wants to be the greatest. But he's fallen all the way down. He's in the trash. That's what God will do to Satan. Satan has his plan. The devil has his plan. He thinks he's going to take over the earth, and he thinks he's more powerful than God. But God knows. He's like, young blood. Young blood. I see you down there. You are not more powerful. You will never be more powerful than me. You will never be the Most High. Okay? Just amazing. Amazing. The devil will be brought down to the deepest regions. Amazing. And I love this right here. Verse 16. Those who see you will stare at you. Those who look closely at you. Is this the man who caused the earth to tremble? Who shook the kingdoms? Who turned the world into wilderness? Who destroyed the cities and would not release the prisoners to return home? There will be people who look at the devil. I don't know how. I'm guessing it'll be the people in heaven. We'll see how the devil has fallen and what God does to the devil. And they'll look and be like, this is the man who caused the earth to tremble, who shook the kingdoms. I would guess that devil at this point, when he's been taken down, it's at his lowest confidence, right? He's not a man. Like if he was a man, I would say, this is his weakest point, right? He's got no more strength. I don't know how I would describe him, but he's at his weakest point. Like he's a shallow of his. He doesn't have any power. He doesn't have any control anymore because he's been brutally destroyed and thrown into the deepest regions. And people are gonna look at him and be like, "This is the guy. This is the person who did this. Like, what? This guy is. I think I might be bigger than him. Can he bench? I don't think he can bench 200. I, on the other hand, can bench 202, 205. Yeah. But this guy right here, yeah, he's weak. Is this the guy that caused all this trouble, all this sin? Oh, this guy's weak. How does he think he could be the Most High? How did he think he could be better than God? Yeah. Oh, yeah. He can't even bench press 200. I might be stronger than him. Right? And then I love when it says, would not release the prisoners to return home. I'm guessing this could be two things. This could be the fallen angels that he keeps in hell. Or it could be like the souls. I would think the souls of people who have fallen down there. And how the devil's like, nuh-uh. You cannot take these souls, right? They're mine. Like these sinners, they're mine. And how he wouldn't release them to return home. Or it can mean how he has control over people on earth, like a lot of sinners, a lot of people who indulge in the flesh, right? The devil has control over them, and he won't release them. He won't release them and let them go back to God. He's like, no, you're mine. And that's why it's so important for us to break the shackles of the devil and go to God, because he won't release us. We have to release ourselves. Okay? It's just a absolutely amazing verses we just talked about. I love Isaiah. Probably one of my favorite books, I'm not going to lie. I mean, Isaiah, this 14th, this 12 to 15, explains so much about the devil, what his ambitions were to be the most high, to be better than God. But is he better than God? No. Will he ever be better than God? No. He's a shallow man. He can't even bench 200. You hear me? Man, that was a great message. I'm a little bit hyped up. But what do I want to conclude this video with? The day of the Lord is near. And what you do in your life today will decide which side are you on. Are you on the side of the devil? Are you on the side of the weak? Or are you on the side of the Most High, the God of all power? What you do today echoes in eternity. Okay? What you do in these 100 years of your life will decide what your eternal life will be. Will you spend the eternal life in hell, in the pit of fire, or will you spend your eternal life in heaven with the King of Kings and sit on the throne with your Lord? You pick. You must make a decision. Will you pick the side of the Most High or the side of the devil? You must pick. There's not enough time to wait. You must pick today, because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You must pick. You hear me? Thank you for watching. I love you guys.